the end there, and we'll give a demonstration of how the muskets fire. And it will be loud. Company, to the front, step. Gentle wheel. Who's calling cadence? Alan? Left. Left. Right. Left. Left. And a gentle wheel. Left. Right. Left. 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 Right. Left. Company, prepare to right wheel. Make it tight. Right wheel. Front. Halt. Right about face. Forward. Move. Halt. All right, we're going to this angle this way. And right above face. So what we're going to do is show you how we would fire these muskets. And I'll walk through what the firing technique is, how they work, and then we'll demonstrate what they actually do. These are called flintlock muskets. They're called flintlocks because this is the lock, this is the stock, this is the barrel. If you've ever heard lock, stock, and barrel, that means you have a complete musket. It's called a flintlock because it uses a piece of flint right here. It's a piece of rock. Our lives depended on a piece of rock. Now you scouts know that if you take flint and you put it on steel, what happens? A spark. Right. So if I was going to fire, okay, this is a very important part too. You have to use your imagination. If I use my pen, there's a hole at the bottom of the barrel. Feel free to spread out and demonstrate also. There's a hole at the bottom of the barrel. That's called the touch hole. I want you to keep that in mind. That's a very important thing. This is the pan, and it's called a pan because that's where stuff goes into it and it gets held. So if we were going to fire, I would take a preload rolled cartridge, and typically if I was firing a live ball, there'd be a musket ball in the bottom. I'd rip it open. Oh, that's important. All Minutemen had to have at least 2 teeth opposite each other. Because if you didn't have 2 teeth, then you couldn't rip it open. So if we were going to fire, which we're not going to just this moment, I would take that, I would have ripped it open, I'd pour some of that powder in the pan. And again, I'm not going to do that now, we'll be doing that shortly. Just a little bit of powder, then I'd close it. This is called the frizzen. How many people know why it's called the frizzen? No? No, he said no, he changed his mind. Well, I'm hoping some year someone knows the answer because I don't know why it's called the frizzen. It's the place where the spark happens. So now that I've closed the pan, I've got powder in there. If I flip it upside down, the powder stays where it is. So that's an important aspect. Then the next step would be we take it down. We take the cartridge that we just had. We pour the rest of it down the barrel, along with the paper and the musket ball. We would have to ram it down. If we didn't ram it nice and tight, then there's a chance that the barrel could explode. And if the barrel explodes, where it would explode? It would explode at this face, and this face is much too pretty to have a barrel explode on it. Shake your heads, yes. Okay, good. So now, and we would have to make sure we put the ramrod back. There's some companies where they may just put the ramrod in the ground. Well, that's a very important thing, but then when you're ordered to advance, you don't have a ramrod and all you have is a fancy stick. Because without a ramrod, you do not fire it because it will explode in your face. We already talked about the faces. Ramrod back. So now I'm ready to fire. So if I pull the trigger, nothing's going to happen. And the reason nothing's going to happen is because I'm only at half cock and it's a safety measure. So I could do that all day long and it won't fire. Unless I go like this, too hard, and it does fire when it's at half cock. That's called going off half cock. You're ready for a big show, but you really weren't ready at that moment. Okay? So then the captain would say, or the sergeant would say, make ready. Then we go back to a full cock, and you could all hear that. And then we would fire. Now, we take aim and we fire. We talked about spark. We're all going to demonstrate what it looks like. You'll see the spark from the flint hitting the steel. All right? Everybody spark it. You see the spark? So the spark from the frizzen goes down into the pan. It makes the powder in the pan go off, and the hot gases from the pan go through that little touch hole and make the barrel go off. You know what happens then? Boom! And that's how a musket works. Okay, anybody want to do a spark? Who wants to make a spark? If you want to make a spark, you got to yell boom. Okay? You yell boom? Okay.
Hard. A little bit of residue on that.
Pull it, come on, go back. Boom.
Anyone else?
Well delayed.
Really hard.
Want to make a spark?
It's not going to go boom. There you go. Yeah, you did it. That's right. Very good. My own daughter has probably never done this before.
All right, anybody want to hear what it really sounds like?
Yeah. Here we go.
Let's go. Company, reassemble. Right, we're going to do a prime and load, which means we do what we talked about. We put it in the pan, and then we load it. And then we'll go back to shoulder. Company, prime and load. A well-ordered and well-regulated Minuteman and Redcoat can load and fire 3 times in 1 minute while they're being fired upon. Ready? Company, make ready. Aim. Fire. That's a boom. Did anybody not go off? So that's single rank fire. We're going to do the same thing, except we're going to be double rank, meaning the short guys, I think that's me,